Yeah. No, our dad loved our mom, and our mom loved our dad. But it was just a very unhealthy kind of love. And even when we moved from West Texas to East Texas, it got better, but it was still unhealthy. It wasn't. My mom finally told my dad, "Look, you're good. I'll let you drink, but only on the weekends."
Faith and Failures podcast.
Am I tough, sister?
Yeah, you kind of got mom hands. I mean,
I do have. I've always wanted to be the petite.
Yeah, she's not.
But it's like, no, I'm not.
You got mom's legs. They're just a little shorter.
Yeah, that's true too.
You're called that heavy.
Yeah, you are.
I don't think I'm as mean as mom was. Though.
No, you.
I think you are.
Yeah,
you're the meaner side of mom.
Yeah, I got longer time with her.
I'm the
Your side of the
I'm the
qualities you get.
I'm the sweeter side of mom.
Yeah, was there sweet fun?
I don't know. Anyway,
well, she did take in strays all the time.
Yeah.
So now, being from the crazy kind of jailbird house family, was your family always there? Like your parents stayed together?
Oh yes. Thankfulness, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Usually, that's kind of the.
Yeah. No, our dad loved our mom, and our mom loved our dad. But it was just a very unhealthy kind of love. And even when we moved from West Texas to East Texas, it got better, but it was still unhealthy. It wasn't. My mom finally told my dad, "Look, you're good. I'll let you drink, but only on the weekends. We're not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to keep chasing you."
Well, I think
she kind of settled in.
I think she tried to ground him.
Yeah.
I think she tried to settle him, help him. Now, we didn't really find that out
until later. We didn't understand.
Well, about 2 or 3 years ago, when our mother died, 36 years ago, 435, something like that, there was a family Bible that belonged to my mother that was given to my uncle. And so about 3 years ago, I had traveled to Arkansas, and he had given me that Bible back, which was very hard for him, because he felt like this is the last thing that I have of my sister. And so, but he gave it back to me with tears. And as I looked through that Bible, we knew that in the Bibles, our mother kept like important things to her. And in that Bible, there was an AA certificate, with my dad's name on it. And so we knew then
that she tried to help him,
that she was trying to cut too bad. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then when we moved from there, from West Texas to East Texas, and we kind of got settled, and our life was a little bit more stable.
Yeah.
And maybe normal.
Whatever normal is.
It changed about the
dynamics.
Yeah.
Well, our mother got cancer, for one thing. But she kind of stayed sick, and they didn't really know what was wrong with her. So she was going to the doctor all the time. And I think, too, moving from West Texas, from all of the family, that all the family out there, it was always bars and poker and bingo and fighting, and that's just the way the family was. And probably is still to this day, but maybe not as bad. But once we moved from there, we moved here where there were no family. So my dad didn't have friends and family that he could go out and drink with, and my mom wasn't having to chase after her siblings and help them and bail them out. And I guess maybe they could focus on each other.
The dynamics was still there. It just wasn't to the same degree.
Yeah.
It wasn't to the same level. It was to a lower level.
Yeah. Because our dad still did drink, but it was just limited. And he smoked weed, which we were not supposed to know. But I mean, you can say all day long your kids don't know what you're doing, but they know.
Yeah.
You live in the house,
So when you left your house, were y'all at the international standard of 18, you move out of your own, or did y'all leave early to rebel against the life you got brought up on? Like, how did y'all get out of the house and start on your own?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm thinking about your sister.
Yeah.
And yours is...
Well, when our mom died, I was 12, and she was 19, and she was already married and had a baby. So
you were already out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she was already out. I was not. Now, my dad, because of the love that my dad had for our mom, his way of dealing with things was to get rid of everything. He didn't want to see anything. He let our house go back. He gave all her clothes away, all her jewelry, all her everything, her furniture, everything. And previous to that, him and my mom and my dad and then my sister and her husband had bought some land together. And it was through the VA because my dad was a veteran. And once my mom died, it paid the land off. And so my dad moved me and him out to that land into a lean-to.
Now, we were already on that property.
Yeah, they were in a trailer house.
Now, in this whole time when this is happening and you're moved out, you're married and having kids and stuff, are you saved or are you just doing your own thing?
Am I what?
Are you saved?
Saved?
Did you know Jesus?
Oh, she was when she was like 8.
I was 7 when I received Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But now I have a story about when I was 4. And
It wasn't going to rob the bank.
she was going to the bank. She was going to the bank. I was going to get the Bible. Tree story.
Yeah.
So you've been with Jesus for a while.
Yeah, and she never strayed.
Really? Whole life.
Yeah.
Yes.
She never strayed. She never done drugs. She never drank.
And like
I think maybe there is a story where she did. Did you drink when you was in that guy's underwear?
Yes. Goodness gracious, yes. Don't even tell that story.
In that guy's under.
Yes,
That's always a good segue into a good story.
because let's see, I was probably this was before I was 15 maybe. And we used to always go to Brother Dave's, which was a restaurant in White House. And I didn't understand, like, my dad was always drinking. Our family,
Our brothers.
members were always drinking. Our brothers, just everybody that we were surrounded with. And so I just thought, what is the big deal? I don't understand. And so we were all at Brother Dave's one night, and everybody was drinking. All these kids were drinking, and which is probably not a good story to be telling on.
It's closed down. It's fine.
But anyway, so then I started drinking, and next thing I know, we were at this person's house, and of course my brothers were there. So my brothers would not have allowed anything, I don't think, to happen to me. But all I can remember is I was in there.
She probably had one drink.
Soda. Oh gosh, I was so sick.
You felt sick.
I was so sick. Well, I was over the toilet sick. I don't know how we got from Brother Dave's to this house. I don't know.
From one drink?
From
Probably one drink.
Oh, that was your
It probably was one of what did Dad always get for Christmas, for the Christmas gift from his workplace? Jim Beam or whatever. It may have been that with Coke.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, one of those.
But anyway,
I was sipping the suds that poured off my dad's can.
I took her.
She missed that step.
I missed a lot of steps. But anyway, I don't know how we got there, but I was all I can remember is being over the toilet throwing up. But I was so sick, and it was like I wound up peeing my pants
While over the toilet sick?
while I was over the toilet sick. I don't know how that.
You were close.
I was.
You almost made it.
I've been close on a lot of things. I don't ever make it somehow. But anyway, so my brothers are like, okay, get her some of your sweatpants, and so they gave me these sweatpants. I don't even know how.
And this man's underwear, so she put them on.
There was men's underwear in there and you ended up in them.
Yeah. So, well, it was a guy that lived in this house.
Yeah. He gave us some of his clothes.
So there was no women, I don't think, that lived there. I don't think.
Probably
But anyway,
It was a
I
pretty
did
house.
remember one guy, I said, I just need to go home. And so this guy says, here, I can take you home. And I can remember one of our brothers saying, she can't ride her motorcycle home.
It's strange the things you remember.
But I remember even the next day being so sick at my stomach and being over the toilet the next day. And I thought I can remember thinking, Lord, I don't get it. This is just blowing my mind.
She never touched it again.
No, after that, it was like, okay.
God gave you that experience so you wouldn't.
Well, and that's the thing about my life is I have always had like a hedge of protection. Where
We'll tell stories and she's like, what? And we're like, dude, how are you so sheltered?
Okay.
No, I didn't know
The
that.
story that's coming to mind right now is when we were at a cousin's house and all of y'all were talking and y'all were talking about the brothel.
And she's like, what's a brothel?
I'm like, what's a brothel? And my cousin.
Type of stew
Yeah.
with broth in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And my cousins, were you raised with us? Because like all of them are talking about it and they're laughing and I'm just like, what's a brothel?
And so you're not even the oldest. So you were in the middle of everything and still don't have a clue.
It
It wasn't like you were older and you moved out and you got out of it quick and it was, you were there somewhere.
the whole time.
You were somewhere.
The whole time.
It just got worse. It got worse after my mom died because my dad and them went from weed and alcohol to heavier drugs. They went to cocaine and meth. And our one brother done heroin for a while. So when my dad got rid of all my mom's stuff and he moved us out there into a lean-to, which we lived in that lean-to for a year and a half, maybe 2 years, with no water, no electric, in the winter, in the summer, this is where we lived. And the lean-to was made out of a A-frame, if you know what an A-frame is, and a tarp that they put on the back. And somehow, I don't remember how, but somehow they came into which usually they stole stuff.
Yeah.
So they may have stole stuff. But they found a bunch of bricks. And so that we had a brick floor. And then we had a metal drum that we built fires in. And so that's how I was 12 and 13, and I would get on the bus and go to school and I went weeks without showers.
So what did y'all do for showers and drinking?
We didn't. There was a lake down the road, and I'd go down there and play around in the lake for a little while. And sometimes I may have went to your house. I don't know. I avoided her house because of the man that she married, John. He was an alcoholic, but he was a very abusive alcoholic. And so I hated him.
So you knew he was an alcoholic when you married him, but you stayed with Jesus?
I didn't. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think
I didn't think that he's an alcoholic.
I didn't recognize that he was, And then the first 11 years of our marriage. But the way that I battled that alcoholism, well, first off, there was a story about my mom when I was little, and now I understand that my mother had been battling it. That it's spiritual warfare is what it is. I mean, I understand it now more than I did then. But my mother was battling that alcoholism. And I remember one day where she said, you know what, if you can't beat them, join them. And she did. And so that
kind of when it fell apart.
That stuck in my mind. And so when I was battling, and that was a gift from God.
Yeah.
Because when I was battling that spirit of alcoholism, I can remember giving it to the Lord, and there was a couple of times where we were in my husband's, it was more verbal and emotional than it was physical. And I can remember 2 different occasions where I thought, you know what, if I can't beat him, I can't do that. Because I knew that's when it spiraled out of control for the kids that were involved. And I loved my kids. And so I was just like, I can't. And I would go to the closet. I mean, I just knew within myself, the Holy Spirit led me to the closet, I guess to the wilderness, you could say. And I just laid prostrate in the floor and I just said, Lord, I don't know what to do, and
she was like the prayer warrior of the family. She prayed us all out of our darkness. I do believe it, without a shadow of
a doubt. That is still occurring today. Yeah. For the family that we're talking about, this is still occurring today.
Faith and Failures Podcast.